right now?
Oh yeah.
Have you ever been in Australia?
No.
Do you have a little bit of a feel that you have a little kind of an accent from that's not 100% American accent?
Just Cambodian.
Just okay. You might have a lot of friends in different parts of the world.
No, just
Yeah.
truly
That's
Cambodian.
very unique. So what's the biggest benefit of having this type of movie shown to a lot of different types of people out there?
I think it could educate other people a lot, and through movies, people tend to, so they wouldn't want to read the book, they would rather choose to watch a movie. It's just a faster way to spread the information. So I think Angelina Jolie did a great job. But like the woman here said, the movie didn't touch into detail, so yes, you can feel the suffering in there, but there's more to it.
Yeah, that's from the eyes of a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, and then of course there are eyes of the veterans, the eyes of the tortured victim, the eyes of someone that had to maybe compromise their conscience a little bit in order to survive, and so there are many different type of focal lenses. And again, it's so important to note that it's just one perspective.
Has anybody actually read the book? You have? This movie is far different from the book. The book gives it very, very good detail. The book itself, yeah, they
did a lot of
cutting and a lot of, yeah, she got into a lot more description in the book. The book actually is, to me, if the movie doesn't compare to the book.
We were going to have the girl that was the two girls that starred in this movie here. The other one was going to be at the museum here. It's a good thing that we didn't invite her yet because they only showed like 5 seconds of her in the movie.
Mm.
But she told us that, you know, hours of acting.
Right, just for
they
a minute.
trimmed everything down to 5
Right.
seconds.
I really think that it would have been more just if they maybe would have done it in parts and like series, kind of like they do Lord of the Rings and stuff, maybe 3 parts, just so you can really get into the nitty gritty of the book, because the book is awesome.
I like the movie, the series movie of Lost. They have like they have like featuring in different angles,
Right. Different viewpoints, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right. I mean, if she comes into her story and how she is, it's a 3-part series. So she comes to America, what life is like as a refugee, and the whole experience. I mean, she does a really good job explaining it in the books, unfortunately.
Yeah, the movie's in 2000, right? Is it 2000? I'm sorry, the book.
The book.
came out in 2000.
I don't remember what year, but yeah, Angela Jolie does a great job, don't get me wrong, but she doesn't capture the essence of the book. I personally don't think.
for me, I feel imagine if this movie being shown to the Cambodian children over in Cambodia. And this movie is more pointing to America as the root cause to the genocide,
The bad guy.
as the bad guy, but there are more involvement in there. It's also coming out from the Cambodian leader and the king involvement also, but it doesn't feature in this movie.
Right.
So at the current situation right now, the Prime Minister is actually, there's something going on between the Prime Minister and the United States right now. So, and this movie is coming out. I feel if they put this down and show in Cambodia, it's gonna telling, there's a message in there to convey that the person that we need to point finger at
It's the
is
U.S.
It's American.
Right.
American.
But also keep in mind that Angela Jolie, she's like a year younger than me. So that means that her, you know, if I don't have the full scope of what happened, you know, and I'm Khmer American, I probably can't expect Angelina Jolie
Yeah.
to have her lens be any clearer than me. You know, that's something that, so she's really basing it on stories and experiences of people around her, but I don't think that she has any or you know any knowledge of it, because I don't have any knowledge of what happened between 74 to 1979 to 80. In fact, my history, my storyline began in St. Paul, Minnesota, Phil, in 1981. So I feel like my life really started here. I have a couple of sporadic memories in the concentration camps, but so that's something to kind of keep in mind also. Just to be fair, but I think as Khmer, Pastor Kurt, do you think is this a good movie to communicate to the mainstream about? Is this something that we can be proud of?
I think the idea that you now mentioned, it just put like a good face to the bad situation. But you guys hear the girl talk a lot about the word pa. It's no in during Khmer. You just got killed because you used that word.
Yeah.
Pastor, can you explain why is pa such a bad thing? Can you explain?
Because it's French. Papa
Yes,
is
French.
French
Anything about
influence.
French, you will be killed. Like in the story, one of the men trying to get paracetamol is like Tylenol for his child.
So it's just a simple like that. No.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so you see the Khmer Rouge fight back to the Vietnamese is no contest. They run like a little rat. 7 days they took over Cambodia. So I don't know where these things come from, but they
There's
have no
inaccuracies.
contest. They overrun. 7 days they took over the whole thing.
7 days.
So that means they set up everything already. The Khmer Rouge just ran away. And so they set up camp. To my experience, no, the Vietnamese troop never help us. So we run like a sheep without shepherd. So the country is in chaos. But the good thing is that you see in the movie, the kids, they're very happy because they get to know their relative and so on. So they just came back and we free a little bit, but they limit us where we can go. We just cannot go everywhere. So the good thing is that we came back into town. The Khmer Rouge pushed we exodus out. So right now we come back into the city. But there are some places that we cannot go in. So actually, the thing that touched me is the power of forgiveness. When they beat up that guy, and one by one they walk away, but the real life that guy got killed. Believe me, they don't forgive them. Because a lot of Khmer Rouge people, they executed by the population. But this guy forgive by this group of people. And the girl stood and looked at him and forgave him and she walked away. So it's a powerful thing.
But in the daylight, if you made we saw not nobody when they captured Khmer Rouge, they shot you half like thousand pieces in one of you, and no spare, just kill you, chop you, cut the toe, cut your arm. But this one is super mother.
Yeah, it's a power of forgiveness that people will forgive and walk away from that.
Phil, as a stranger to what happened, how do you feel, and is this something that you would expect to communicate for the journey of the Khmer people to the mainstream?
Well, as you and I have talked, Saul, I think to me, the most important situation is that what's happening in our world going forward. Probably all read or know that a similar situation is occurring right now in Myanmar and Bangladesh. Said purportedly 400,000 people fleeing Myanmar, Muslim people fleeing safety, supposedly refugee camps and UN setting up refugee camps in Bangladesh. So to me, what this story is that this is being repeated around the world. right now. And so the question is, what do we do? What do we do about those situations?
Do you think it's fair for us to blame it on America, Bill? I mean, with Myanmar, Cambodia,
I don't, well, to me, I guess it's not, I don't think it's the blame, it's the situation of what's our response. And too many times, obviously, it doesn't matter where you're living in the world. It doesn't matter whether you're living in, I mean, right now, the focus, obviously, in the United States, we're focused on what happened in Texas. We hear the news about what's happening currently in, say, in Puerto Rico, but we don't listen or hear much about what's happening in so many other places in the world. But obviously, what happened in Mexico. I mean, so, but yeah, I think it's our response is what. So it's when we turn our back, whether it's America or whether it's any other country in the world. When we turn our back on what's going on, that's when the situations like this occur.
Oh, Peter.
Well, I think it's interesting, talking about Myanmar. We also have a repeat of all this over and over and over. We have Syria going on, and certainly, we have these civil wars everywhere all the time. I mean, when you're looking at the Ken Burns special of the Vietnamese War, which America thought they were doing something right, but obviously they didn't know what they were doing. But most of that was a civil war between two factions of the same society, not fighting against each other for what each side thought they were doing. And that's the same thing that's happening in Syria. You really have three factions going on there. And the United States is involved, and whether or not what they're doing is right or wrong, but how do you deal with genocide anywhere? How do you deal with that? And the sad part about it is genocide continues. We look at the World War II and the Nazi genocide, and before that you had ethnic cleansing. After that, we've had ethnic cleansing. We've had Southeast Asia with its civil wars. And you would think, we're at a point where this isn't going to happen anymore. But unfortunately, it keeps going. And I don't think anybody has a good idea how to go forward without that happening anymore.
The idea for Cambodian people right now, they just feel they don't want to change. Because change they fear that change will bring them back to that genocide. Yeah, again, so what most majority of Cambodian right now, whoever older than at the age of 35 and above, they don't want to change. They're too scared of change.
Well, the people that I know in Cambodia that are 35 and younger, many of them are certainly for the Cambodian Rescue Party and not for the unsettled.
Yeah.
Actually, Peter, it's interesting. The first thing that stuck out when I went to Cambodia in 2008 to work there was that almost 90% of all the CEOs and directors feel under 35. So my eyes just opened up. I thought, that's crazy. They have no experience. They have 2 or 3 degrees.